Okay, so don't have injuries for you right now. I don't think there'll be too much. The As far as the game goes, I kind of see it the same way I saw it last night. Two good teams playing against each other. The team that made the least mistakes ended up winning the game. Turnovers, we had talked about this during the week. Turnovers, when they win the turnover battle, they're undefeated over the last few years here. So, they got, we were up one on them, and that's how that works. A lot of good things took place, but then, there's some things we've got to clean up. We'll do that. Again, my responsibility to make sure we get that done. I appreciated the effort that the guys put in. I appreciated the young guys and the way that they competed. Everything wasn't perfect, but they competed and did it for 4 quarters. And, we came up a bit short. So we got to take care of business there and get better, which I know our guys will do, and continue to work hard. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
Go first to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, good morning.
Right.
2 questions here for you. Procedural in-house matters. Willie Gay is eligible to return from suspension today. Do you anticipate activating him today? And Brad, I'll have a second one after that.
Yeah, listen, I haven't gotten with Brett on that, but I presume that's what will take place. Yeah.
Okay. And then secondly, Coach, with his return, how will this affect the linebacker rotation you currently have with Darius Harris and Leo Chanel?
Yeah, who have done a nice job for us. So it'll be great to get Willie back in the mix on things, and then we'll just see. Spags uses a lot of different personnel groups, and to have one more good football player in there, sure will help too.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Coach, similar to Herbie, I just have one procedural thing and then another one. When it comes to Trent McDuffie, are you optimistic that this will be a return week, or given the bye as the week after, do you think maybe it could be a thing where you keep him out one more week?
Yeah, no, if he can go this week, we'll get him in there playing. Just want to see how he does during the week, practice, and see how it feels. But yeah, if he can get back in, we'll let him play.
And then the other thing is just on the offensive line. There's been some really strong play at times, and then a little bit weaker play. Any rhyme or reason to that? Is it just the competition? Obviously, the Bills' front seven is really talented. Or are there things that maybe you could do with Andy, Heck, and just to try to improve it here midseason? Yeah, so we've been fortunate to play some good defensive lines, and that helps you get better. And so the guys are competing, and you're gonna lose every once in a while. That happens all throughout the league, and you're striving to win every battle. But at the same time, that we're playing really good, talented defensive lines. I mean, that's the bottom line. And we have another one coming up this week. So, but we look forward to those challenges because it helps you. It helps you down the road become better. And Andy is always looking for things to do up front to work the protections and that. I mean, that's not going to change. He's going to keep doing those kind of things to try to work according to what they present.
Let's go next to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Hey, appreciate the time here, Coach. Wanted to ask you about getting in field goal range in the 12 seconds. A lot of talk about 13 seconds coming into this one, but is it a practice on how much time you need? Is there a certain minimum amount of time you need to get in field goal range, or does it depend on where the ball is? I kind of think back to when the NBA changed up Derek Fisher in that shot. How much time is enough time to get in field goal range?
I don't know, Aaron. I mean, we're kind of testing the clock here now. I mean, that's a pretty low number with 12. Normally, it's tough to get that much yardage that fast. But I'm proud of the way the guys handled it, and I think we were on top of it, whether it was the play calls or whether it was the execution of the plays or whether it was making sure the officials called the timeout. Everybody kind of has their piece of the pie and getting it done as fast as possible. So, I thought it was all well done. And then the kick obviously was tremendous.
Let's go next to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
And Brad, I'll have a follow-up if I could. Coach, you just a little bit more on kind of your overall philosophy when you were talking about McDuffie and how he comes back. It does seem like you like that 1 week of practice, he stays out, and then another week of practice and then ready to go. Is that more about maybe not the injury, but being in the football shape, getting the other muscles going, so maybe he doesn't aggravate something else because he's not used to the cuts and starts and stops that go with playing football?
Yeah, that was kind of the idea last week, was to test it out, see where he's at. We'll do the same thing this week. We'll see. We're not going to put him in a bad situation where he's not comfortable. So, but it's a good. Normally, you want to get him back up to speed, and you can do a lot in rehab. Rick does a great job with his people with that, but there's nothing like being on the field. I mean, Rick would be the first one to tell you this. There's nothing like being on the field and practicing and getting the game speed down. As close as you can to a game and see how it feels. So as long as he feels good this week coming up, then we'll give him a chance to play. If not, then we'll back off it.
And I know when you talk about playing good fronts and everything, and when you're getting pressure, you can either keep more guys home, right, and try to protect better, or maybe get more guys out and try to get it out early. Is getting it out of Patrick's hand quick? Is that still maybe because he's so aggressive and wants the big play and is willing? I mean, I know you'd rather try to rein him in than have to push somebody to go down the field. You don't have any problems and him going down the field, but is that maybe one of the things he's got to just keep working on is take the small gains when they're there and maybe give everybody a chance to get in a rhythm?
Yeah, we try to mix that up the best you can. You can't do one all the time and not take shots, and you can't take shots all the time and then not throw quick game. So I think he's got a pretty good feel on it. And then obviously him, when he does break the pocket, his numbers are phenomenal. So I don't want to curb that. And that's not part of it. So he's got a pretty good feel on everything, on all that stuff. There are a lot of things you can criticize when you get down to a game like this, because it's two good teams playing each other. So there are going to be some things that don't look quite as good. And I mean, they're doing the same thing. They just happen to win the game, but they're doing the same thing. Going, man, we could have done this better and that better. But they have the W. So we're there trying to make sure that we clean up our part and get the things done that we need to be better here. And so that's what we're heading with. But he has a pretty good feel on it. You don't want to take away all that good stuff that he does and his instincts there and how he handles it. He's pretty good with all that.
Looks like we have four more. We'll go right down the line, starting with Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Andy, I have two questions for you. The first is, with Willie Gay's absence, what do you believe Nick Bolton gained most from this sort of 4-game experience? And then Brad, I'll have a follow-up.
Yeah, sure. So, listen, I mean, Bolton's got such a good feel for the game that I think you saw even more maybe of his leadership when Harris came in, although Harris is very smart too. So, and Chanel is, that's a pretty good group there. So, but you got to see him perform with other guys, and he's very close with Willie. I mean, they've known each other a long time, so they're very close. And it was just a little different flavor, but still very productive. I think just adding Willie back in there is another good athlete into that mix, and that never hurts. So we'll look forward to getting him back in there.
And speaking on Willie, Andy, just what do you think the last 2 weeks did for him in terms of sort of integrating back into the team because he could be in the facility?
Yeah, well, I'm glad they let the league lets him back in with the group. I mean, that's a good place for him to be and stay in tune with the game. So when he has an opportunity to get back in, he knows what's going on. I mean, things go fast in the National Football League, and a week seems like an eternity, and things change. You're always growing in certain areas. So to be back in the room, at least you can kind of grow with the guys scheme wise, and do what he can do on the field here. We'll just see where he's at on the field this week.
Let's go next to Todd Palmer. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to circle back to the offensive line a little bit. You guys have been pretty multiple up front with your blocking schemes. What would you say the identity of this group is and what they do best right now?
Yeah, well, they're a tough group. They did a decent job with the pass protection yesterday against a good defensive front. Run game, we got to clean a couple things up there, but there were some good things, and then there were some things we got to take care of. But what their identity is, I think it's probably too early in the season. I like doing identities at the end of the year, not at the beginning. But I know they're a tough group if you want to, a feisty group. So that's you can take that for right now, and then we'll see how we grow.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy. I wanted to ask you about a series of downs early in the fourth quarter when you guys ended up with the field goal. You had the screen that appeared to be open, the Pacheco open field tackle, and then it looked like Mahomes might have had a running lane down the left side there as he was scrambling. Just how do you look back on that particular series? And do you look back and kind of say, man, that was an opportunity there maybe to get more points?
Yeah, sure. No, you analyze that. That's good point there, Sam. That the screen, we actually had an alert on that play where we could go to a screen against a certain look. We did it, and we were just off by a tick. I mean, he catches that, and that's the throw catch deal. That's a big play. Obviously, the run, 58 did a nice job with the tackle. You got to get your feet up, and you can learn from that. Now, that's a young kid right there, but it's very, very intense and tough. And so, but you can try to kick yourself out of that the best you can. Although, it was a good tackle. You give him credit on that. And then Pat was trying to make something happen with the throw. I believe it was 3rd and 13 or somewhere in that area. And yeah, potentially he could have run down the left side, but he was trying to get a little bit more with the throw if he could to get a first down. But it was, he chose that, and that's what you go with, and right or wrong.
We'll go last to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, a couple things. First of all, just curious where you feel you are with the pass rush part of it right now. And Brad, I'll have a second question as well.
Yeah, I thought we did a good job. When we didn't get there, we at least blocked a few throws. And you're not talking about a shorter quarterback there. He's a big kid. We were able to block a couple of them there. But we'll always be growing there with it. But we seem to get decent pressure at times on them, and that's an important thing that we keep getting better at down the road.
Okay, and I know you guys did your research on Juju before you signed him, obviously, like you do for everybody. But have you learned anything from him now, having him as part of your team for 6 months or whatever it's been?
Yeah, Juju loves to play the game, and that's the part I appreciate about him. And he's really tough, and he's very strong. So, but he loves to play, and those kind of guys can hang with me all day. I mean, I like that.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Yep.